If this happens, you need a tune-up. You're sitting at a stoplight and misfire. You're merging onto a freeway and misfire. You're feeling low on power, the engine idles rough, it's hard to start, you hear knocking sounds, you hear a backfire, the engine is on fire, you've got low fuel mileage, you've driven 40,000 miles since the last tune-up. Hello friends, I'm Jimmy, and this is One Road. Today is tune-up day, and it wasn't long ago that I bought this 1995 OBS GMC Suburban. And right after I brought it home, I gave her a tune-up. She ran great, but lately I have noticed it's running a little rough, idling a little rough, the fuel mileage is down, and every once in a blue moon, I get a random misfire. Now, it has been over 3 years and roughly 40,000 miles since the last tune-up. So, needless to say, it's time. Just the other day, as part of the tune-up, I decided to replace the ignition coil. Some of you may have seen that video, I'll link that below. My reason behind that was, hey, the truck is 24 years old, it's never been replaced, and nothing lasts forever. Well, it's a good thing I did, because as you may have seen in that video, when I went to pull off the ignition wire, the electrode out of the coil came with the wire. Yeah, it was in 2 pieces, and that is not good. So I replaced that sucker, and I actually did feel a little more peppiness. Is that a word? As for the rest of that tune-up, we have new plugs, wires, and a cap and rotor to go along with that coil. After all this thing should be running like a dream. Now, the first thing I did was loosened both screws on either side of that cap and pulled it up and off. This reveals the rotor. To remove that, you simply pull up on it and it should come right off. When we look at them side by side, you can see that it definitely needed to be replaced. On my new rotor, I did put some super lube, and that is to help it slide all the way down onto the distributor. And don't worry, it is keyed, so you can't put it on wrong. Next, I set the new cap in place and tightened it down. I had just enough room to do this. And looking inside that old cap, you can see that it was certainly time. The spring-loaded center pole had plenty of wear. With that new cap in place, we can move on to the plugs and wires. And I did them one by one just to make sure I didn't cross-wire anything. So I pulled the wire off the plug and removed the plug. Now we can read the plug. And from my understanding, this plug looks normal. It's old and does need to be replaced, but normal. Then I took my new plug, checked the gap, which does need to be adjusted to 0.35, applied just a touch of anti-seize, and reinstalled. Now I can remove the old wire, noting its path to the cap, match it up in length with a new one, and replace it on the new cap and the new plug. I repeated this process 7 more times and finished the job. Now, of course, the very last plug I pulled was the most interesting one. Take a look at this thing. There's a gigantic growth on the ground electrode. I have absolutely no idea what could have caused this and why this would have happened. If you do, comment below, let me know. Well, that's it folks, the job's done. Everything is new, and all I have to do now is start it up and make sure she runs. All right, she seems to be running great. Let's take her on the road and see what she feels like. All right. Woo! She sounds good. This thing does have a tiny bit of belt chirp, but not a big deal. Just gonna pull her out of the garage here so it doesn't fill up with carbon monoxide as I let her warm up a little bit. This thing feels good. Looks like we're getting held up by a trash truck here. Let me go around them. Well, just in the first, 60 seconds of driving this thing, it feels really good. Feels really responsive. Taking off from a stop sign. Of course, it's not fully warmed up, but feels good and sounds good, that's for sure. I'm headed uphill. Seems like I have plenty of power. And it also seems like there's plenty of camera shake there. Sorry about that. I gotta say, I definitely feel a difference in the overall responsiveness and just kind of the peppiness of the motor. It's not like an amazing, night and day difference, but definitely something I can feel. The motor just seems smoother. I don't think it's placebo, I really don't. So let's see. We're sitting on a brand new coil, brand new plugs, brand new plug wires, brand new cap and rotor. That's a lot of ignition parts, pretty much all of them, that are brand new. And it does feel good. Well, one thing is for sure, this Suburban definitely has some new pep in its step. Well, hey guys, if you like this video, please don't hesitate to hit that thumbs up for me. Every last one of those really helps out my channel. I'm Jimmy, this is One Road, and I will see you in the next one. Woo-hoo-hoo!